The protesters camping out in a 6-block section of the city, calling it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. The president saying the mayor needs to take action now.
If there were more toughness, you wouldn't have the kind of devastation that you had in Minneapolis and in Seattle. I mean, let's see what's going on in Seattle. But I will tell you, if they don't straighten that situation out, we're going to straighten it out.
My guess is, and don't hold me to this, but I would think this is going to be over one way or another in a week, that either they're just going to get tired of it, and I don't know the degree to which the folks in Seattle blockade them so that they run out of provisions, or I think you're going to see an increasing to force them out. When you see what Mark Milley said, and the General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and Secretary of Defense Esper, I can't imagine that the military, the president is commander-in-chief, he can do whatever he wants. I can't imagine that the military wants to get involved in a domestic dispute and a use of force. But whether it's the National Guard or the police, I would think that at a certain point that as we've seen in these cases, you try to wait them out, and then when you can't, you use force to push them out, and those don't end well.
The siege continued for 51 days before coming to a terrifying end. On April 19th, the FBI tried to force the Branch Davidians out with tear gas, but the compound suddenly erupted into flames. Within an hour, it had burned to the ground. Inside, at least 76 men, women, and children were dead.
It's an image that shocked the Bay Area and the nation in October 2011. A young protester, a Marine veteran who served in Iraq, severely injured after being hit in the head by a police projectile, a lead-filled beanbag during an Occupy protest in Oakland. Scott Olson had a fractured skull and was put into a medically induced coma before being released from the hospital weeks later.
I'm still somewhat living with some permanent effects from that brain injury.
Here's what Governor Inslee said on Twitter: what we will not allow are threats of military violence against Washingtonians coming from the White House. The U.S. military serves to protect Americans, not the fragility of an insecure president.
This can't stand for much longer. I would think within a week something is going to happen to end this. You can't have people just taking over, even if it's 6 square blocks. You can't have people taking over major American cities and declaring them government-free zones and independent republics.